Tens! Today we're going to talk about absolute value equations. Till now, we have focused on solving linear equations. Today, we're going to move on and solve absolute value equations. Some terms to know. Absolute value is the distance a number is from zero. Absolute value is always a positive number. But what is absolute value exactly? Besides this definition here, how does it apply to what we're going to learn today? Well, let's take this number line, and I'm just going to quickly label it. Alright, so I've labeled the number line here. So what is the purpose of this number line in showing what absolute value is? Well, on a number line, you can see the distance between 0 and any number on this point. Like, let's say 3/2 is over here. Well, what would the absolute value of 3/2 be? The absolute value of 3/2 would be the distance it is from 0, which is 3/2. So the absolute value of 3/2, and this is the notation for absolute value, is equal to 3/2. But what about negative 3/2? Let's just label that here. This is negative 3/2. How far is it from 0? And again, distances are always positive, which is why absolute value is always a positive number. Well, the absolute value of negative 3/2 is also 3/2 because it is the same distance from 0 as 3/2 is from 0. So the absolute value of negative 3/2 is equal to 3/2. And it's the same for all the numbers on this line. Negative 4 is 4 places away from 0. 4 is also 4 places away from 0. So you can basically think of absolute value as the positive number of whatever this value is. So if it's negative, it's the number minus the negative. And here, it's just the positive value. That's it. So given all this, how do we solve for x? To solve for x, if we have the equation the absolute value of ax plus b is equal to c, we solve two linear equations. Ax plus b is equal to c, and ax plus b is equal to negative c. Now, why do we solve two equations for the positive and negative value of c? Well, when we're solving an absolute value equation, we're basically undoing this absolute value by doing both the positive and the negative value. Because both the positive ax plus b and negative ax minus b will have the same absolute value, ax plus b. So we're basically solving ax plus b is equal to c, and we're solving negative ax plus b is equal to c. Now, if you're thinking, but wait, why is c negative then? Well, it's because we can take off this negative by dividing it by -1. So when we divide this by -1, we divide it on this side too. So this becomes ax plus b is equal to -c. And we've reached this equation. But there are some things to beware of. You must beware of extraneous solutions, because sometimes the values you get, they don't actually work. And as a result, you may have only one or even no solution. So you must be aware that you can have solutions that are algebraically correct, but don't actually work when plugged into the equation. Another thing to remember is that absolute value is always positive. Now, let me give you an example. You would require a system of equations to solve this, but looking right away, you can see that this thing will have no solutions. Pause this video and try to figure out why this wouldn't work. This equation doesn't work because we must remember that absolute value is always positive. So we can't have an absolute value equating to a negative number, which is why this has no solution. Alright, let's try some examples. Before I go through the steps, I would like you to pause this video and try these out. Alright, I'm assuming that you've given them a go. So let's start with the first one. The absolute value of 5x is equal to 15. Now, going back to that previous slide, we know that we must solve for 5x is equal to 15. And 5x is equal to negative 15. So let's solve both of these. 5x is equal to 15. Now this is a pretty simple linear equation. Both of these are. So we divide by 5 on both sides. And we get x is equal to 3. Okay, we're not boxing those yet because we don't know if there are extraneous solutions. Let's do the same here. We divide by 5 on both sides. Cancel the 5's out on this side. And we get x is equal to negative 3. Now let's check both of these solutions. Let's check x is equal to 3 first. The absolute value of 5 times 3 is equal to the absolute value of 15. Again, absolute value is pretty much like parentheses in this regard, which is equal to 15. So this works. We can box this answer. Let's do negative 3. The absolute value of 5 times negative 3 is equal to the absolute value of negative 15, which is once again 15, because negative 15 is 15 units away from 0. So x is equal to negative 3 also works. And we have two solutions. Let's do the second one now. The absolute value of 3x minus 9 is equal to 36. So again, we do the same thing we did here. We equate them to both 36 and negative 36. So let's do 36 first. 3x minus 9 is equal to 36. We add 9 to both sides. Get 3x is equal to 45. Divide by 3 on both sides. And we get x is equal to 15. Again, we're not boxing these yet because we're going to do the check step to see if there are any extraneous solutions. Now let's do it for negative 36. 3x minus 9 is equal to negative 36. We add 9 again to both sides. You get 3x is equal to negative 27. Divide by 3 on both sides. Sorry about that. I'm gonna put this here. And x is equal to negative 9. Alright, let's check this. Gonna put my check up here. So let's check x is equal to 15. The absolute value of 3 times 15 minus 9. Okay? Again, this is like parentheses and order of operations. So 3 times 15 is equal to 45. So the absolute value of 45 minus 9. 45 minus 9 is equal to 36. And the absolute value of 36 is equal to 36. So x is equal to 15 works. Now, also x is equal to negative 9. 3 times negative 9 minus 9, the absolute value of this. 3 times negative 9 is equal to negative 27. So the absolute value of negative 27 minus 9. Negative 27 minus 9 is equal to negative 36. And the absolute value of negative 36 is equal to 36. Oops. So x is equal to negative 9 is also a solution. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video or this helped you, click that like button. If this didn't help you, click that dislike button. I greatly appreciate feedback. If you want more updates on new videos, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you have any questions related to this topic, please put those in the comments below. And remember, the comment section is the equivalent of a class discussion, so if you have any answers to any of the questions, you can answer them. If you have any suggestions as to how I can improve my future videos or what I should do next, please put those in the comments below as well. If I like your suggestion, I'll be sure to include that in the next video and give you a shout out. See you in the next one!